Good greetings, everybody. This is Rusty Dog. Okay, so this video is going to include technically an exploit. Technically. Yeah, more or less. It's a grey area exploit for me. I'll say right off the bat that on the whole I am against exploits in the game, and if you follow my channel you'll know that already. It inhibits the proper gameplay. It stops people do that, and they don't play the game. They're too busy focused on achieving a specific goal that they don't play the game. And because they're focused on a specific goal, to achieve that goal they have to get into a grind, and in doing so they complain about the grind, and so then they look for a way to speed that up, and that might lead to exploits. And exploiting tends to be a grind anyway, but instead of just playing the game and letting things develop naturally, there's kind of a blind, or blinkered, I should say, a blinkered focus towards a specific goal, whether that be an anaconda, or ranking up in the Federation, or some such thing. Maybe getting your combat rank higher up or whatever. And if you just focus on that one thing, then you are going to subject yourself to a grind, because that's going to be all you're focused on, and you're not going to be focusing on any other aspects of the game. Whereas if you just played the game that was in front of you, you'll find a more wholesome experience. But that's not to say that the grind is good. The journey up from newbie to the higher ranks, the bigger ships, that's fun. But it's fun if you play the game. If you start as a newbie and do things like quints and stuff like that, you're not gonna get the most out of the game. You're not gonna enjoy it, and you will get bored. And once you've got your goal, it's like, where do I go from here then? Because if you achieve everything really quickly, all you've got left is the grind. Now, the grind, I'm not going to focus too much on this, but the grind isn't it like people say elite, but Elite Dangerous is the grind. That's what it is. It's what it's all about, and that is true. There's no escaping that matter. Elite Dangerous is a grind. It is a grind game. That is inherently what it is. If you can't accept that, put the game down, and I don't know, maybe try something else. Maybe it's not your cup of tea. Elite is the grind. It's been made that way. But the grind has been split up into what I would call maybe sub-grinds. So you have like a grind to, for example, your combat, your trade, and your exploration rank, and if you want to do it, your CQC. You've got your grind up your I'm going to say up yours, up to the Federation rank, up to Admiral. You've got the Empire ranking to get up to King. Alliance, so far we have nothing there, but there's probably something coming there when the Alliance ships come, I don't know. So there's that grind. But with me, the majority of those came over time as I played the game. I didn't focus solely on getting Combat Elite. I only just got Combat Elite a couple of weeks ago, and I've been in the game since Premium Beta. My trade rank Elite came last year, I think it was, maybe a bit before that. Had it a little while, and I still haven't reached Explorer rank Elite yet. It's almost there, as you can see, and my furthest distance travelled on this account is about 8,000 light years. On my second account, where I'm Combat Novice, my furthest outreach so far is 23,000 something, I think. I'm not sure. Because I'm using my second account for exploration. And in that one I am focused on that. But it's not a grind, it's a thing. It's one of the big three things in the game. But if I had focused on, let's say I'm a new guy and I'm focusing on ranking up in the Federation. I think, okay, what do I need to do for that? Well, I need to do missions for the Federation. Do I need to do any specific type of missions? Well, yeah, maybe. Maybe I need to do certain missions that get me the big rep missions, as opposed to the lower rep missions. I'm gonna now single out the bigger rep missions. Let's say, for example, massacre missions. And if I keep doing massacre missions, I'm going to get bored very, very quickly. If I keep doing it over and over and over. And I might think, well, I still want to rank up in the Federation, but I don't want to keep doing this. And then if there's an exploitative way to do it, well, maybe I'll look for that way instead. And then I kind of fast track my way up and cheat my way up, so I can buy a Corvette or whatever. I just think it's not the right path to go down. And I don't encourage anybody to do exploits. But getting back to these I've just noticed there's a rebuy cost on the SRV. I've never seen that before, or I haven't really paid attention. 178 credits. Yeah, okay, so I don't know why I haven't seen that. The other sub grind, which I believe is the worst one, because you can still play the game as it's put in front of you without doing this sub grind, and that's the engineers. This is the worst one. But again, you can split that up into even smaller subsets of grinds, because engineer grind involves sourcing materials and data. So you have all this stuff here, your materials, some of which is found on planets like antimony. I can't think of antimony without thinking Chim Chim Charu. Anyway, yeah, forget what I said there. Cadmium, carbon, all that stuff on planets. Chemical manipulators, chemical process distilleries, stuff like this from USSs and possibly other places. Mission rewards, and then you have data. Again, mission rewards. You can get some of this from, can you? I think. No, not data. No, I'm thinking materials. Sorry. Yeah, the data you get from scanning wakes, for example, from bases like planetary bases, scanning outposts and scanning data points and stuff like that. And these subsets where you want specific materials, let's say, I know which one I'm going to pick on. Let's go down to the P's. Where are you? There you are. Proto-radiolic alloys. Available in high-grade emissions, but they have to be in high-grade emissions that are in systems that are in specific states. So I'm going to quickly go here to my galaxy map, because I do have one down here somewhere. Here we go. Proto-radiolic alloys that are available in high-grade USSs. And this is in a system called Minot. So it's not very far away. You'll be there in a minute. So anyway, it's 255 light years from where I am. But it's in no state, but it's agriculture with a refinery as a secondary. And it's in Federation. I'm not sure whether Federation is a requirement. It may be a requirement. You may have to go into Federation agriculture. And then you jump into the main star, and then you just sail away up to 150,000 light years, and you sit in Super Cruise and you wait for a USS to pop up, and then you focus on it and it's degraded, and you think, screw that, don't want that. Next one comes up, encoded, screw that, I don't want that. Another one comes up, distress call, oh, and you're there and you're just sat there and you're thinking, is there nothing else I can do while I'm doing this, while the ship's doing this? Anything else I can be getting on with? You know, it is the worst. At least if you're looking for stuff on a planet, your mind's constantly occupied. You know, like I'm completely out of arsenic. So, but if I'm on a planet surface that has it, at least I'm roving around. I see a rock, I see a wave on my scanner, and oh, let's go there, let's go over there. Let's see if we can navigate over these bumpy rocks, and at least my mind's kind of occupied. But in Super Cruise, you're just there like a squeezed lemon, just sat with a face like a squeezed lemon, I was going to say. But you just sat there like a lemon and just waiting for these things to pop up. And then, ooh, USS. And then you click on it and it's a high grade and you think, oh, it's a high grade, that's what I want. And you wait, 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 and it says you can disengage. And you disengage, and you see the white blips on the radar, and you go, oh, what is it? And you go to the contacts, and it's 3 proto heat radiators. And you go, yeah. So, yeah. Now you've got to jump back into Super Cruise because you didn't want those. Maybe you did. Maybe you can pick those up. And now you're back into Super Cruise. And you've got to wait for the next high grade. And that might not come for the next 10, 15 minutes, if that. Oh. So I do get the other flip side of the argument, you know, about the grind being grindy. But not all the grinds are grindy. You know, grinding up to, because if you focus on something that requires the grind, rather than just playing the game, doing missions off the board, doing some bounty hunting, maybe doing a bit of pirating, doing some exploration, doing some trading, play the damn game, you know, instead of just focusing on one goal. Ooh, I'm a newbie. I want a big ship. I want an anaconda. What do I need for an anaconda? Money. Right, how do I make money? And then you look for ways of, or you search on Google or the forums or certain people's videos of how to exploit the game. And I think personally, if you do that, you shortcut, you'll get what you want. You'll get it quicker. And then you'll lose out. And then you'll end up flying an anaconda. And you'll not know how to control it. And then you'll wonder why you end up smashing into the mail slot. I mean, I'm not saying that's everybody, but, you know. And if anybody engages you in combat, well, good luck. So, there's an exploit in the game which is... I have to answer that in a second. There's another exploit in the game which kind of is a grey area. Because as an exploit, it's not like a big deal exploit, really. And Frontier are not really... I don't know whether they're not able to, but they're not going to be doing really anything or much to sort this out. And this is what I call instance swapping, or people call it board hopping. It's not really board hopping, because I'm out here, okay, on a planet's surface with my anaconda there, and let's say I'm in solo and I switch to private group or open. I'm going to end up here. Where's the board? Where's the mission board? I'm not board hopping. If I'm doing it to flip over for missions and stack missions, that's board hopping. But the procedure of escaping out and going from private group back to solo, you're swapping instances really. I don't know where the board hopping phrase came around. Like I said, if you're in a station, then yeah, I could see why it would be called board hopping. But coming out and going into another another game mode. It's really game mode switching is what it is. It's game mode switching, mode switching, mode switching. There you go. That's what it should be. It's mode switching. I just call it instance swapping, but again, when you think about it, if you're in Super Cruise and you drop into normal space and then come back out into Super Cruise again, you've instance swapped, because that Super Cruise instance that you've just jumped back into is a different one than the one you had when you jumped out. So that's kind of instance swapping as well. But okay, let's call this mode swapping. Most of the time, not all of the time, but most of the time, the mode swapping is a time saver. It doesn't really gain you any advantage other than it saves you time. And as a lot of people can appreciate, and myself included, I would say, certainly people who have got limited hours to play the game, the time factor, maybe they want to compress that time a little bit, and and maybe do mode swapping. I think when it comes to exploits and ways around and getting yourself an advantage, I'm kind of against all of that stuff. I have done it in the past, but I kind of think of, I have done in the past missions where I've stacked 81 missions in the days when you could, and done skimmer missions and then just mode swapped, and then killed more skimmers and mode swapped and killed more skimmers to complete all my missions, go back, and all 81 missions complete at once. I have done that. I have done that in the past, and I've done Rubigo. I don't consider Rubigo an exploit at all, but it was a money maker. But it was, I thought the money was worth it, because you took risks. You risked your ship back in those days, and you had to travel long distance before engineering to deliver your cargo. There was risk and there was reward for that. I've never considered Rubigo to be an exploit, but I've done those kind of things. Rubigo I'm fine with, always fine with, but yeah, I do have a history where maybe 5% of my gameplay, maybe 3 to 5% of my gameplay has been that. But I kind of look at it in a different way now, and I know that if I'd started as a newbie and Quince and places like that existed, and I think, oh yeah, I want to make loads of money, and I did that, and I did Quince, and I got my anaconda, and I made a couple of billion, in a few months or a month or whatever, and then I would buy, another ship, and then I would work grind up towards my federal rank and my empire rank to get the 2 big ships, and then I've got billions and I can buy what I want. There's no sense of achievement. If you if you exploit your way up, you will get no sense of achievement or satisfaction in anything that you earn. It took me a year to get my first anaconda in the game. I didn't have it as a focus, I didn't have it as a goal. I just played the game and I got there. But once I got the anaconda, I felt like I'd earned it, and I looked after it and I treated her well, because she was hard to come by. I spent a lot of time in a Python before that. So yeah, I if I'd done it that way, if I'd done it with exploits, I think I can safely say I would be looking back now with the mindset I have now. I would be looking back, and I would be regretting doing it that way and thinking I wish I'd journeyed up, with proper gameplay. The other thing to consider as well is that back in those days, before the 20 cap mission stacking, and before the Corvette and the Cutter were even in existence, before those days, the journey up, you might want to call it the grind up or whatever, the journey up was an enjoyable experience. It went at a good pace. And nothing was, it wasn't really too slow to, it may have taken you a week to get to a certain rank, and I think that's absolutely fine. If it takes 2 weeks or 3 weeks to get to your next Federation rank, 3 weeks of solid good play, I think that's absolutely fine. You can't expect instant gratification or to achieve everything really quickly. This isn't that kind of game. I would have felt really, I wouldn't have liked it. So I'm glad that I'm going off the spout here. What I was saying was about in the old days, before all the engineers and whatnot, is that the journey was easier and it was more enjoyable. And I think what happened is the people who exploit, or the people who find get-rich-quick schemes, I think their behavior was probably responsible for a lot of the game being nerfed in certain areas. So Frontier would look at the situation and say, okay, well, these people are making too much money too quickly now. They found a gold mine somewhere where they can make tons of money really quickly. And so whatever behavior of gameplay they were using got nerfed. So then maybe the grind up to the next federal rank would take longer now. So the grind that we have in the game today, which is arguably slower, well, it is slower than it was when I was journeying up the ranks and earning my credits. It's a lot slower now. It's a lot more drawn out. And I have to believe that a lot of the reason for that is because of the behavior of how some people chose to play the game. So I'm not strictly saying the exploiters are to blame for the grind that exists now, but I'm just saying there's a correlation there. If you look at Quince, which got abused to high heaven, I partially blame Frontier for that, for allowing that. You got Rhea, which they nipped in the bud fairly quickly. And all these exploits came out and people were doing it, and then this got nerfed, that got nerfed. The massacre missions were nerfed, so you couldn't complete them all in one go. These missions were planetary missions, you can't do them all. They won't all auto-complete now. So now everything's more grindy. Why? Because it was exploited. The more you guys exploit, the more it's going to get nerfed, and the longer the grind is going to be for everybody else. Now, with all that nonsense said, let's get on with the video. I am going to be instance swapping in this, but I think it's justified. And I'll explain why. If you disagree with me and you think that mode swapping in this case isn't justified, please leave a comment. I'll be quite happy to hear you out, and I will respond back to you. I try and respond back to as many people as I can on my comments, unlike some people. So yeah, drop a comment, keep it nice, keep it civil, and I will be civil back to you. So, 3 words: cracked industrial firmware. Cracked industrial firmware. Yeah. Okay, so you can come by it. You can come by it. You can come by it in mission rewards. I've seen, since 2.4's dropped, I think I've seen one mission that offered you cracked industrial firmware. One bloody mission. Yes, one. The other one is modified embedded firmware. Now, I don't know whether modified embedded firmware is going to feature in this video. It may pop up. I don't know. We'll have to see. Cracked industrial firmware surely already has, because I only had one before I started this video, and I've got 4 now. So I picked one up. So where are we? Data. So yeah, cracked industrial firmware. This is what I'm going after. And the reason I'm okay with mode swapping or time saving is because of how bloody difficult it is to find this thing. I think, if I'm not mistaken, the 3 things that are so difficult to get right now are cracked industrial firmwares, because they're just harder to find. I guess because they're used in grade 5 engineering. And I'm needing to do some grade 5 engineering on certain parts of my Furtherlands, and I find that a few of the upgrades that I'm going to be doing to G5 require cracked industrial firmware, and I only had one. And you know, with the engineers, that's once you've grinded for all the, or is it ground? Once you've grinded for all of the materials that you need, like, you know, the proto-radiolic alloys, which is a right pain in the arse to get, the cracked industrial firmwares, the modified embedded firmwares, and probably the most elusive of all, exquisite focus crystals. I still don't know where to get those from. I've been trying to bribe the engineers, but they're not having it. So I still think Celine Jean's got some tucked away in the set. Anyway, so cracked industrial firmware is something that I'm going to be needing for some of my FDL upgrades, because I'm currently going through all of the modules and stuff and weapons and whatnot on my Furtherlands, because I want to bring it up, because I looked at it last week and I was looking at the modules, and I saw that some of them weren't engineered yet. Some of them had engineering updates on them that I really thought, I don't really want this one, I want a different one. Because I've learned more about how I want my ships to be engineered than I did when I bought the Furtherlands. So some of the choices that I've made on shields and stuff like that are maybe different to what I would probably make different choices now. And the only way I can make those choices is to have the materials available to do the grade 5 upgrades. Okay, but it's not just enough to have a couple of these things. So if you're grinding away for cracked industrial firmwares or for proto-radiolic alloys, and it takes time to get this stuff, you know that just farming for 2, 3, 4 or 5 of them isn't going to be enough, because you have another thing, which is the RNG, the random number generator, which is the engineers. I've always called it a casino, which is pretty much what it is. You know, you put your money in, you pull the handle, you see what you get. It's a casino, and the house always wins, right? So you may get a great roll first time. That's in a perfect world. You know, you might be going for grade 5 heavy duty shield boosters, and you think, okay, let's do this, and you put your money in, i.e. the 3 or 4 whatever it is materials, and you click generate, i.e. pulling the handle, and you see if your 3 cherries come up. And if you get a great roll, you might say, whoa, that's it, leave it there, that's a really good one, I don't think I'm going to improve on that, let's move on to the next shield booster. Brilliant, right? Sometimes you're going to get one, then you'll get another one on your next shield booster, and you think, well, this is probably not as good as the last one, need another go, and every time you're using up, and then you might say, okay, well, I've only got 3 arsenic left now, for example. I don't know what heavy duty requires, can't remember. I've only got 3 arsenic. And then you think, well, I have to compromise myself here now and be satisfied with the roll I've got, because I need arsenic for another upgrade I'm going to do on my shield generator or whatever. So yeah, you've got to not only grind for this stuff, but you've got to find enough of it. And not only that, we only have a 500 data limit and a 1000 material. Now, looking at it straight at the face there, you would think, well, a thousand what capacity? 1000 capacity hold for materials and 500 for data. That's a lot. And when Frontier doubled it, you know, because it used to be 500 and 250, I believe, and they doubled it, and we thought, wow, that's amazing. We'll never fill it up. Yeah, we will, because more stuff's come out now. Because now we've got stuff like the Thargoid stuff, okay? And the problem with the Thargoid stuff is that currently it has absolutely no use. You can't use it anywhere, I don't think, can you? Well, I'm not sure if this is used anywhere. I think maybe, I'm not sure if the materials are used for something. I'm not sure, but or the data, I'm not sure. As far as I know, they're not used for anything, unless anybody knows otherwise. Let me know. But we know that they're going to be here for some reason in the future, I would say. So we have to hold on to the bloody things, because we don't know whether we're going to need them. All you can do here to keep your inventory down is to do housekeeping. And I have to do housekeeping on this every now and again, and I go through it, let's say in the materials, and I just look down and I look at the big quantities, anything that's 20 or over, and then I look at the grade. So this is standard, it's grade 3, it's standard, and I think, okay, and I'll put myself a limit of maybe 15 or 20 for grade 3s, 20 to 25 for grade 4s, and maybe 25 to 30 for grade 5s. Anything that's grade 1, like carbon, I might say, well, as it's so common, I'll only keep 10 of them. I've got 19 there, so I might get rid of, but I'm going to do it in groups of 3s, so I would only get rid of 1 perhaps. So I'm, you know, because that's a division of 3, 3, 6, 9, and then you got 12, 15, 18, and as you find carbon, it comes up in groups of 3s, so I'm trying to keep them in groups of 3s. Anyway, that's what I do. So I come down and say, okay, 25 conductive polymers, configurable components. You can look at third-party tools and find out what, like ED Engineer, and it will tell you what upgrades use conductive polymers, what upgrades use configurable components, and it might say, okay, conductive polymers might be some upgrade on a plasma accelerator, and that's all. And you think, well, I never use plasma accelerators, so I don't need these, or I don't need as many of them, so I can get rid of them. And you can probably work out, if you spend time going through it, how much you think you'll need of some of this stuff. And maybe you've got some like heat resistant ceramics, maybe you're going to need that in an upgrade and you want to look for more. And it's, yeah, but right now I think I've got 115 spaces here, so I don't have to worry about anything yet. Proprietary composites, again, you find these in high grades in the same places that you find the proto-radiolic alloys. Proto-heat radiators, got 28 of those, but that's grade 5, so that's very rare. So it's not a question so much of, oh, it's really rare, so I should keep more of them. You know, that's my thinking at the moment, but it's not really the case, is it? It's you keep as many as the engineers are going to need, because otherwise you've got no need to keep these. It's only for the engineers, because that's all they're used for. And well, that and synthesis. that and synthesis. So you look at your synthesis, you look at your synthesis, and you look at your engineers, and you look at maybe multi-cannons or pulses, whatever takes your fancy, whatever you like, and you know, you find out what the grade 5 upgrades for those are, and you know you want to try and keep a good stock of the stuff that you use and upgrade a lot. But you don't keep upgrading forever. You might want to give yourself a choice. You might decide one day, you know what, I'm gonna not use this particular engineer upgrade on multi-cannons. I'm going to change it out and put something else on. And you need a whole different set of materials. And if you don't have a good selection of them, then you need to go out and grind. But today's video, now that we're going to get it underway after me blabbering on, is all about cracked industrial firmware. Now this is one of my most hateful things to get, because every time I've tried to get it, it's involved me going to a base and scanning 2, 3, 4 data points, and then you've got alerts going off and defense turrets looking at you and skimmers and stuff like that, and you've also got a time limit. Once you scan the first one, you've got like a minute and something to get to the next one. Then that gives you a bit of extra time, like an arcade game. You know, you fire on something and kill something, and it gives you an extra bonus time. And once you've got all 4 done, and you've wiped the sweat off your brow, and then it says all links established, and it doesn't give you cracked industrial firmware, and you think, oh, screw that. So then you've either got a mode swap and then do the whole bloody thing again, or try elsewhere. Well, not in this case. I found a place that is more calming and easier to get the cracked industrial firmware. But as I said, you will have to mode swap, probably considerably, depending how many you want. So, excuse me, I do need to drink as I'm talking so much. So, where are we? Well, some of you may have heard of this place already, some of you may not. The problem with this place is it's not marked on the map. So when you're here, make the most of it. So, we're in system Hyades Sector DR-V space 22-23. Now that sounds like it's a long way away from the bubble, but it isn't, as you can see by the engineer bases dotted around and the fact that Shinrata Desra is just there. 241 light years away from Shini, so it's not a massive distance from anywhere. It's probably around the same distance from Seoul. So yeah, this is where we are right now. And if we pop into the galaxy map, you'll see that there is one planet with a base on it. Okay, and if we pop into that base for no reason, we'll see that it's there, Azaya base, or Azia. But I'm in a different place where there's a base, and you might be able to see the base. Where the hell is it? I don't know where it is now. I lost it. I think it's over that ridge. Oh, it's over there. I don't know where it is. I think it's here. Yeah, that's it, I think. Okay. I think this is it. It's not far away from my ship, so... Have I just... I can't remember whether I parked... No, there it is. I can't remember, I was going to say, I can't remember whether I parked with the arse of the ship. There's the base, yeah. So, yeah, the rear end of the ship is there. Okay. The problem is, if we go into the galactic map and see where I am, you'll see here that it's not marked, there's no base marked. And that's because this is just a little planetary outpost kind of thing. And if we go in, you'll see I'm here, but it's not marked at all. So I found out about this on the Elite Dangerous forum, and so I'm going to impart all the information to you that you need to know. So the place is called Dab's Hope, and I think I've got it in my... I'd need to reply to that guy. So Dab's Hope, there you go. I'm not sure whether you can get it straight off the map. I wouldn't have said so. I haven't actually tried because I came here using coordinates. And even once you get to Dab's Hope, you can't like target it and bookmark it. You have to arrive here via the coordinates every single time. So the coordinates, as you can see on my SRV there, but I'm going to give you the ones that I was given, although it's not going to make much of a difference because if you land at the coordinates where I am right now, in fact, if I remember, it was 44.8. I'm going to have to escape like this to get to my browser. One moment. I'm just looking for the post that posted the coordinates. Okay, so it's get a pen and paper ready, because I'm going to read them out to you. So as you can write the ones down that I've got. It's pretty much right next door. So, but the ones that are written down here for me, although it's you can choose which ones you want. It's the same. Is so the top number will be 44.818, and the bottom number, the longitude, will be minus 31.389. Right, anywhere in that area, and you're good to go. So this place is called Dab's Hope, and it's not just good for CIFs or cracked industrial firmwares, and specialized legacy firmwares. That's also modified consumer firmware I've come across as well, but I haven't come across modified embedded firmware. Not yet. I'm not saying it's not here, but I haven't come across it yet. Now I know it says Hobbs Hope up there, but this is referred to as Dab's Hope, as you saw from my comms thing here, the mining team of Dab's Hope. Okay, and then that I just picked up specialized legacy firmware. So I still have all these missions to do. So you'll see I've already got white stuff on my radar. So if we go into the contacts, you see Dab's Hope. So there's material here, and I will quickly tell you what you can get here. And again, I need to press escape because that's the only way to release my mouse off the screen onto my right hand screen for some reason. I don't know why it's been like that. Let me have a look. There's a list of stuff which you can get here, which I do have the list in front of me already, but I think it was updated. And I can see one of the responses on the post is by Wasp0. He's one of my subscribers, so if you're watching Wasp, you'll already know about this. Okay, I'm going to read you from the previous... okay. No, if I read you from this list, it's just going to give you repetition. So, the stuff you can see here, dotted around, let's just have a quick wander. There's another one, but that's the data point, so we're going to come back to that one. So if we go here, uplinks, you can scan the uplinks. You know what? I think this post is magnetized because I've hit it about 20 times already. If you just fly around here, you will find high density composites. I don't know whether that's any use, but you can find all this kind of stuff just floating around. Now, what else can you find floating around here? Refined focus crystals. Let me give you a list of some of the stuff you may find at Dab's Hope. So, chemical distillery, chemical manipulators, chemical processors, compound shielding, conductive ceramics, conductive components, conductive polymers, configurable components, electrochemical arrays, flawed focus crystals, galvanizing alloys, grid resistors, heat conduction wiring, heat dispersion plate, heat exchangers, heat vanes, high density composites, hybrid capacitors, mechanical components, mechanical equipment, mechanical scrap, phase alloys, polymer capacitors, refined focus crystals, salvaged alloys, shield emitters, shielding sensors, and worn shield emitters. That's what we know of already. So in other words, that is an engineer's wet dream. So there's plenty of stuff there to feed the engineers with. But what I'm interested in is this little fella right here. Because as you know, when you go to planetary bases and you pop these things, you scan them, you can get your cracked industrials and whatnot. But on a lot of bases, you've got to scan 2, 3, 4 of them, and you may be trespassing, and you may have skimmers and turrets. None of that here. And there's only the one data point to scan. So let's scan it. I think I've already done it actually. Yeah, it's down. So I'm in private group, so I'm going to mode swap to solo. And I need to just respond to my friend's question, if that's okay with you guys. Okay, there we go. So, data point is up. You can do it with the turret, but I think you can also get there without. So, actually, it's not going to do that. If your SRV is positioned in the right place, you can scan this. I think somewhere near this magnetic post. To me, it's magnetic. Yeah, because you're on a slight incline here. There you go. Whoops. Does it still work once it's gone down again? Okay, let's see what we get. Boom! Cracked industrial firmware and classified scan data banks. Now, what I would advise doing is every time you get something that you weren't after, like classified scan data banks, I would advise that you go in and go to there and see if you've got plenty of it already, and if you need any more. If you don't, then maybe just get rid of the 3 you just got. And that way you won't keep building up your capacity when you don't need to. I really am after, I don't know, I'd like 20 of these would be good. And to know that if I ever need them again, I can come here. So, let's save time. We are saving time because the other way to do this would be, oh God, I guess I'd have to go back into the ship, go back up into, point straight up, head into Super Cruise, stop the ship, point it down again, come down, and then try and log on to the coordinates somewhere close by and do the whole thing. You're looking at 15-20 minutes, maybe 10, I don't know, and then you come by here again in the SRV and you scan the data point, and you might not get a SIF. So I know that if I didn't use the board hopping, or not the board hopping, I just said it wasn't that, didn't I? Yeah, the mode switching. If I didn't use the mode switching, I know that I would still be able to do this. I'd still be able to do it. It would just take me longer. And I don't mind things taking a while to do. I got no problem with that. Unless, of course, it's looking... With the exception of looking for high-grade USSs in Super Cruise, because that's just the most life-draining activity in this game. I don't mind things taking time at all, you know, quite happy with that. I can't seem to scan it at the moment. Let's turret this thing. But yeah, this is just like I said, like it's a time saver. I was positioned pretty well before I went back to my Anaconda. I was positioned where I didn't need the turret. So now we've got specialized legacy firmware. Just that one thing this time. So, okay. So again, now that we've scanned it, it's out we go. And all this is for, like, I'm not exploiting for credits here. I'm just time saving. I call it a exploit grey area, really. Because it is an exploit. Game hopping is exploitative, but it's not anywhere near the level of, say, what was going on at Quince or stuff like that. The difference for me there is night and day, I believe. That's my personal opinion on that one. Let me see if I can get on that incline. There we go. Just get on that little hill there. And I can scan it from within the SRV. Anything? Okay, some specialized legacy firmware, classified scan, and tagged encryption codes. I've not seen tagged encryption code for a while. But again, with the classified scan databanks, what I'll probably do is scan a few of these and then do a bit of housekeeping on the data later on so that I don't. But right now I don't have to do it every time because my capacity is not really that full. You don't have to keep switching either from private to solo and solo to private and private to... I wouldn't go in open unless you... I don't know. Maybe this is a known place and yeah, you might be under risk. But, you know, I think I can switch from Rusty to Mobius, Mobius to Rusty, and Rusty to Solo, and Solo to Mobius. It's not going to make a difference. Let's go into Mobius, see if anyone else is around here. But yeah, you know, you've got your SIFs here, and you've got your specialized legacies, and there's no issues here in terms of skimmers or defense turrets. If I fancied a bit of a challenge, you know, and going against the timer, then I wouldn't mind doing it on a base that has security. I'd be okay for that. But the last few days I've spent time just doing gathering materials for my FDL, and so I'm really not in the mood now to do this. So I keep picking these up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of a few of them. So 3, 6, 9, 12. Do it in groups of 3. So that the divisor is on 3 at the end. Like this one, I'd probably get rid of 1. But I've got very few of them right now. So I'm not going to bother there. This one I get rid of 2. Oh, I got rid of 3 by accident. What a plonker. Okay, let's get rid of 2 more. There you go, now it's a divisor of 3. So, okay, out we go. Now, cracked industrial firmware is not going to come up every single time, but you can get it here. And that's kind of just the thing, really, that you can get it. There are certain things in this game which I can completely be on the side of those people who say, well, yeah, but I do the exploits because otherwise the game's a grind. Well, 99 times out of 100, I'm going to say to you people, you know, if you don't like the grind, don't play the game, because the game is the grind. But I can also see the other side where the grind is too much. Oops. You know, in some cases the grind is, it's, I think the word I can use is unreasonable. You know, if it takes, like I was saying before, if it takes me, I don't know, let's say I'm prince in the empire and I want to get to king, and it takes me a month of doing missions, I can live with that. As long as I'm not focusing myself just on it. It depends how many hours that is. You know, I don't mind if it says, well, you're going to have to gameplay for at least 30 hours, 36 hours to get to king. Fine, if that's what it takes. You know, I'll play the game and that time will come. It will happen. If I'm focusing on it, then those hours are going to be more noticeable, and I'm going to be complaining, what a grind this is to get to the next one. But if I just play the game every day and enjoy it for what it is, I don't think I'm going to notice that grind so much. See, now we've got modified consumer. Modified embedded I haven't come across yet. So part of what I'm doing here with this mode switching, for me, because I haven't been here before, part of the mode switching here is for research purposes. That's how I'm going to justify it, because I want to know, can you get modified embedded firmware from here? I haven't seen anything written about it, but I didn't see anything written about specialized legacy from here either. So this is kind of, this is my first time, so it is a bit of research for me to find out. And as it is, I'm bringing you that information live. Tagged encryption codes. See, I don't know if that's useful for anything. Tagged encryption codes, I don't recall an engineer ever needing tagged encryption codes. But I will use the third-party tool ED Engineer, and I will find out later on if they're used. If they're used for anything, and B, if what they're used for is anything I would ever get. So it might be, for example, shielded sensors. That's probably not an upgrade I'm ever going to do, and if I do, it'll be very rare. So I think, well, I don't need to carry 21 of them. Just give me 6. You know, and I'll make the amount of stuff inside my let's call it my data box here. I'll make it more efficient. I'll make the quantities flow around what I use most, or based on the engineers. Now I seem to be getting a lot of specialized, and as you can see, it's grade 1, which means very common. So therefore, having 28 might not be a big deal because they're quite easy to get hold of. So I want to get that down. I'm going to get rid of 10 of those. I know they are used in engineer upgrades, but I've got a feeling that as I'm going through this, I'm going to be picking up quite a few of them still. So I've got no qualms about getting rid of 10 just now. So let's just pop it. I don't know which one I've come out of, whether it's solo or group, so it doesn't really matter. I can just keep going back into the same one. So I'm saving a bundle of time here. It would be nice if the data point reset. Say if I got into my Anaconda and flew 3 kilometers away and then came back, I suppose, I could be pushed if I didn't need them so badly, and I wasn't in that frame of mind where I just need to push on and get this FDL done. I could do that. I'd be quite happy to jump in the Anaconda and just boost away for 3 kilometers and boost back and then do the whole thing again. Yeah, I could do that. It would be a pain. I'm not going to deny it. It would be a pain, but or have the data point. reset after 5 minutes or something like that. So we got tagged and classifieds again. So again, I'm going to take another look at this. Whoops. Classified. See, it's building up again. So I got no qualms there, just deleting these because they build up so bloody quickly. And the tagged ones, again, grade 2, but it's 29. So I'm going to bring that down. I'm going to get rid of 11 for now. Bring it down to 18. Let's bring it down to 15. That keeps my capacity, so I don't have to worry about it getting full. Now, when it comes to, I'll say one more thing about exploits. When it comes to proper exploits, like ways of making big money really quickly, you're not going to see any of those videos on my channel. I'm just not. What the hell's this? What's this got in the way? Yeah. What's going on here? Where's my SRV? Something's happened. Yeah, something's happened here, guys. It's not reset properly. Right, I don't quite know what happened there, but the game kind of sort of crashed. I mean, it didn't crash, but it was as if it was playing in the background behind that still screen that I had. So I don't know what the hell was going on there. I had to actually come out of the game and I had to end the task and come back in again. But anyway, it puts us right back where we're supposed to be, and the ship is still here. Yeah, classified and tagged. Getting a lot of those. So yeah, as I was saying, you won't get any money exploit videos on my channel. I've done them in the past, but I have a different view on it now because I see how it can be bad for the game as a whole, not just for the user but as a whole. So, but when it comes to mode switching, I kind of make an exception here for this because everyone's got access to it. Everyone's going to do it. Well, not everybody. Some people don't. Every time I see that modified there, I think, is it going to be embedded just for once? Because embedded is used by engineers, and right at the moment it's so difficult to find. Mission rewards, they do appear, but again with mission rewards, the mission rewards is the only place where you can be given a material that is not in a pack of 3, if you like. You know, from here you get a 3-pack, in USSs you get a 3-pack, missions you just get a 1-pack. I'm not quite sure why there's no consistency there. Now I don't know how much more of this I can take, because like every repetitive operation in the game, it starts to get boring very quickly. I would probably put some comedy on in the background, music now and again, but more than likely I'll be putting comedy on in the background to listen to. I find that passes the time a lot better. Old British comedy. Oh, modified consumer. See, all these firmwares are popping up. We haven't had a cracked one for a while. We've had, what, has it been 2 or 3 since the video started? I think it's been 3. I'll find out in a second, because I started with 4. Let's go into Rusty. I can't remember when we had that freeze, whether it was on Mobius, and maybe there was some kind of lag there. I'm not sure. I can't remember what game mode I was switching into. Here's the thing though, I've termed it mode switching, okay? But if I go from the Rusty Dog player group, private group, to the Mobius private group, I'm not strictly mode switching, am I? I'm still in the same mode, just a different group. Is there one term to encompass it all? I think mode switching is probably going to be the easiest one. So let me have a quick look at my stuff here, my data. So I started with 4 cracked, and now I've got 10, which means I gained 6. So yeah, 2. We've only had 2 cracked so far. I think if I stay here for a couple more, because I've got to make it worth my visit, because I didn't just, you know, tag this place on the system map and get here. I had to navigate coordinates. As it happened, when I came into the planet's orbit, I was kind of roughly almost around, you know, I didn't have to go very far to get to come here. I didn't have to go to the other side of the planet to get it. What? Cracked industrial firmware. How is it suddenly full from 400 and... Do I need this much? Really? I did get them. What was the other one? The one that I kept getting. Let's get rid of some of these. See, if I keep it in divisions of 3s, then I know that when I come to discard them, I just have to pick a division of 3 that I want to get rid of. Say 3, 6, 9, 12, and it's very easy to do that. Let's get rid of these. So that's already in the division, so I'll get rid of 15. What else? Specialized? Yeah. I'm gonna get rid of some of those. It's amazing how quick that 50 or so capacity just got blown out. What about the modifieds? Oh yeah, 30. Let's get rid of 12 of those. That gives us a divisor of 13, if that's the right word. A divisor of 13, divisor of 3. Okay. Alright, so yeah. I can't believe it filled up so quickly. So I think I will wait here and do one more, and then I should have enough. In fact, I'm going to have a look at ED Engineer first to see how many upgrades I want to do on the Furtherlands that require SIFs, and then I'm going to have to work out how many rolls I want to put per module, how many goes I want to have, and then I'll work out how many SIFs I want and see if I'm roughly there. Again, specialized legacy. So that's 3 of something that I don't want. Yeah. Like I said, I could keep housekeeping every time I do a scan, but for the purpose of the video, I won't. So yeah, this is laborious, repetitive, but you know, I do see posts on the forums and people asking, where do you get SIFs from? Where do you get SIFs from? It's such a pain to get it. So this is basically an answer to that. This is the easiest place to come to get it. That's 6 specialized legacies now, so you can go to hell. Yeah, so if you are against mode switching, then I'm afraid you'll have to find another way, or come here and just keep popping into Super Cruise, taking the SRV back to the ship, popping into Super Cruise, turning around, coming back here, finding the place again, getting the SRV out, coming back here and scanning again. you're essentially going to do the exact same as what I'm doing, except I'm skipping out the bit in the middle where I keep going up and back down in my ship. But I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. I'm after one material here. I'm not after a billion credits. And I think that's quite a big difference. Modified consumer. So yeah, it kind of does look like we're not going to get modified embedded, and I don't really have any of those, or very little of them. I'm getting a lot of these. I'm going to bring this down a lot. Okay, and the other one was tagged, wasn't it? So get rid of 6 of those. Yeah. What was the other one? There was something like these. What are these used for now? Do I really need to keep these? Ah, here we go. Yeah, modified embedded. So I've only got 3 of those, and as you can see, they're grade 5, so they are very rare. So I don't know whether that's a reason for them not appearing here, or whether they just don't appear here at this particular base. So this is it. This is the routine for SIFs. So I'll do a couple more, and then I think we'll bring the video to an end. And if you have any comments about anything I've spoken about, by all means do leave them in the comments. And if you're nice and civil, then you'll get a nice and civil response, because I'm just that kind of guy. But I can also be the other guy, so don't troll me, because you won't win. I'm too practiced in it. Okay, not practice in trolling, but practice in dealing with trolls. I've done plenty in my time. Specialized legacies and unusual encrypted. Yeah, I tell you what's unusual is how many you're bloody giving me. If I don't keep on top of this, then this is going to fill up rather quickly. And I wish when you came off here and went back... Oh yeah, well it does stay in place. The reason it's resetting is because I'm mode swapping all the time. So let's go into a different game mode. Should we try open? Somebody's already here and they're going to blast my ship to pieces. Come on, let's try open. If there's anybody here, if I feel like I'm at risk, I'm leaving. I just haven't got time to play people's games. Oh, you son of a... So, specialized. Again with the specialized. It seems to be very insistent on giving me this stuff. So, even though we are saving... Can you imagine, right, if I wasn't saving time by mode hopping, if I wasn't... or mode switching, if I wasn't saving this time, imagine doing it without the mode switching and just, you know, going up into Super Cruise, you know, to create a different instance, and then coming down and getting the SIB out and rolling all the way over there, and then scanning it, and it's specialized and untypical. I mean, can you imagine the frustration that I would have by now? And it's not worth that kind of stress. I would probably just give up and not do it, and then my furtherlands would go unmodified and I would just get peed off with the game. And so yeah, I do see the grindy side of things, The grind, the people who talk about the grind, I do definitely see that side of the story. But those people have to understand that you have to do a considerable amount of grind in this game. And that's the way the game is structured. You can't just avoid it. So it's probably easy to just play the game and let it come to you. You can see that the cracked industrial firmware is... we've had 2 already, but getting this last 3rd one, I'd like to just get 1 more before I end the video. And I suppose I could edit the video and just until I get one, but then what's the point? Unusuals and classifieds. Sounds like some bizarre newspaper. So, classified, scan, let's get rid of 12 of those. And the unusuals, it's not unusual to get encrypted files. So I need a divisor of 3 here, so I'm going to go with 18. I tell you what, if I ever need unusual encrypted files and specialized legacy firmware, you know where to come, guys. Jeez. Oh man, there's certain things that this gives you. You really know where to come for it. And of course, every time you create a new instance, then the other stuff that's scattered around here, the materials that are scattered around here, like the chemical processors and the conductive ceramics, that all changes. If we take a look, got grid resistors there. So let's see what it is next time. Just keep having a look at that and see if there's anything there that I need. Classified scan, no. 2 unusuals. Okay, so grid resistors. I think we'll make this next one the last one, and if it's not cracked, well, I'll end the video and I'll just hang around here till I get 1 more, and then I will be on my way, and then I can finally get started upgrading some of the stuff on the FDL, or changing some of the stuff on the FDL, because I'm not happy with it as a combat ship right now. Oh, that was a crappy one. Another unusual. Let's see if we can get a good one. The ones where they give you 2 or 3 different packages rather than just the one. Let's go into solo. Sorry, I just think the stuff that goes through my head sometimes. I was looking at solo play and say they should rename it to no friends play, no mates. Yeah, Billy no mates mode, to try and entice people into open play. So yeah, nothing going there. So anyway, here we are. This is the place to be for your gear. Oh, let's take a look. Yeah, we didn't have a look. 1 shield emitters on this one. I mean, there's more of them, but I have one in close proximity here behind me, so I'm just looking at that one. You and your specialized, you and your unusual encrypted, and then you've got these logs here, which I haven't really looked at yet, but I'll check them out a bit later and give them a read a bit later, see what's going on. Okay, so there you go. I know it took over an hour and a half, whatever it was, for me to tell you something very quick, but you know, I like to ramble a little bit, so yeah, I hope you found the video useful, and you know, again, I'm not going to condone or encourage exploitative gameplay. And yeah, if you're a new guy, a newbie, a newcomer to the game, try and stay off it, because I guarantee you a better experience. Even though some of the grinds are a bit more laborious than others, the engineer's grind is, in some cases it's easy, in some cases it's a pain. If you focus on certain goals, like, you know, getting up the ranks fast and stuff like that, you're just inviting a grind. You're just inviting it, I think. Anyway, enjoy the game, whatever you do and however you decide to play it. Just enjoy it, but don't spoil it for yourself. Okay, have a think. Think twice. That's Rusty's advice, is think twice before you exploit the game. I don't know, are there any exploits left? If there are, don't leave a comment. Don't want to know. Okay, that's it then. That's my how to get cracked industrial firmware, simply because I know getting hold of CIFs are a real pain, and I'm hoping that this video will have helped you out on that one. And before I go, I'm going to forget. Okay, I needed fuel. I probably should turn off my shields actually and save a bit of fuel and stuff, because I certainly don't need it. I can even turn off the wave scanner. I don't know whether what does that mean? Oh, complete. Okay, I got it. I don't know whether turning off these items will survive a mode switch. I think so, right? It certainly saves on fuel. I am going to end the video, I promise you. You can turn it off anytime you want though, guys, so a bit of casual gameplay here. Come on, give me a crack before I go. Come on. Come on. Yeah.